Oh, it's the holidays. So full of joy, such sadness. Let's talk about that. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Movie Emporium's movie review of The Holdovers, the newest film from director Alexander Payne. So, The Holdovers is this new Alexander Payne film in his repertoire. It's a film about a group of individuals who are at a boarding school who are about ready to go on Christmas break or the holidays. And in the process of everything, a few kids get stuck over because families get tied up or whatever, or they don't celebrate Christmas or whatnot. And so the teacher, who's played by Paul Giamatti, who plays Paul, and Divine Joy Randolph, who plays Mary, the cafeteria cook, basically are going to stay at the school, for the holidays. And on top of everything, a character played by Dominic Sessa, who plays Angus, is unfortunately the only person or only kid who stays over. And it basically is as somebody put it, a bittersweet story about three individuals who are very much similar in their nature of like how they view the world, how the world views them, their kind of nature of society, their view as kind of downtrodden individuals that have gone through very much turmoil and tumultuous ideas and stuff like that. And they start to learn a little bit about each other and start to become friends in a lot of respects. And it's basically a journey, as Alexander Payne is only known for doing, about kind of the human evolution of people who are, seem very different but are very much the same in a lot of respects. So Alexander Payne as a director is kind of hit or miss with me, to be fairly honest. There are films like Election and Sideways, and to an extent About Schmidt, that I truly love, but I'm not like a huge fan of a lot of his films like Away We Go. I'm not a real big fan of The Descendants or of course Nebraska. It doesn't mean they're not terrible films. They're just not my cup of tea. And then he did Downsizing, which was actually a terrible film. But for the most part, Alexander Payne is a very talented director. He gets writers, or he writes a lot of material that is very successful. I think Election is one of the great comedies of all time. I really do. I think Sideways is a great dramatic dramedy in a lot of respects. With this film coming out, the trailer looked awesome. It looked very, what I would call a very 60s, 70s look to it, with the kind of graininess and stuff like that, and the kind of like filtering that feels very like if you were in a fog a little bit. It's a very of its type of film, and the trailer was awesome. I really did. I think Paul Giamatti was awesome in the trailer, but I also heard this film was great. I heard it was very sad and bittersweet, but I also heard that it was a fantastic film full of great performances. So I was excited to see this, and of course they did an early screening, which I'm waiting for the week this releases. So I've seen this a couple weeks ago as this review, and so for my honest review of this movie, unless something else comes to beat it, this is my favorite movie of the year. I think this is the best film that Alexander Payne has done since maybe Sideways, but definitely since Election. I would put this as number 2, maybe number 1, depending on how I feel, but I think Election is his best film. This is a film that has riveting dialogue, riveting character development, absolutely well-developed characters in their own right, and some really Oscar-worthy performances. This is a film that really only focuses on 3 individuals and does it a fantastic job. I think Paul Giamatti, once again, is a winning pair with Alexander Payne. I think he hasn't really worked with him since Sideways, and it really shows that there is some magic there. This is like a pairing that should do films more often. And Paul Giamatti, who is very nuanced on his performances, he can go really big or he can go really small, is somewhere stuck in the middle as an individual that kind of likes, like for instance, like me, likes to be by himself, and really kind of he has a history, which his back history deals with why he's the way he is now, but he's an individual that's very strict. He's very by the book, and it takes characters like Divine Joy Randolph and of course Dominic Sessa to kind of show him the way of the world. And Paul Giamatti just rules in this movie. He really does. He's fantastic. He gives a performance that is just, I think, one of his career performances, and it's fun to see him connect with the student that he kind of really doesn't like very much. And it just, the way it plays out, the subtleties, how he nuances himself, how he's an alcoholic, he has flaws. This is a movie about flaws with individualities and stuff like that. It's a really great performance. And then you have Divine Joy Randolph, who plays the cafeteria worker, who's dealing with like the death of her kid, and she's dealing with this like trauma, and she is trying to hold it. And you see like kind of a world, because this takes place in the between the 60s and 70s. You see a world where it just, there's an appreciation between Paul Giamatti's character and Divine Joy Randolph, but the other individuals don't really care about her. But once you get into this is what I love about human study when it comes to filmmaking, especially films like this, is you can really approach a character that may surface level may not be somebody you would ever talk to, but when you go deep into their psyche and deep into their soul, there is a nuanced thing there. And once again, this is an Oscar nomination, Oscar level performance from Divine Joy Randolph, who just knocks it out of the park. She doesn't take anybody's crap. She does what she needs to do, and she just has a great story to her. She fits really well into these group of holdovers for the holidays, and I was so emotionally taken back by her performance and her character work and how she performs and how subtle it is. It's just a really well done performance and really great. And then you have this new actor in the world, Dominic Sessa, who this is his only role I've seen on IMDb, unless he's like up for something else, who is the like breakout performance. Like, this is a character, Angus, who is very rough around the edges. He feels spoiled. He feels, like he deserves everything, but he really doesn't. But once again, like Paul Giamatti's character and like Divine Joy Randolph's character, there's something sad and something kind of heartbreaking and something soulfully like depressing about him. And it really breaks through as the movie moves along. You go from this kid who you just don't like at all because you feel like he's an a-hole to turning into something more nuanced and something special. And this is, out of the three characters, I think this is the most surprising and most well-rounded character, because it's just so, there's a lot of weight being put on Dominic's shoulders that you just kind of watch and you take in and envelop, and it's just so mesmerizing to watch. But you could get a best picture out of this, but you could also get a best lead actor or a best supporting actor or best supporting actress. And I think I would be extremely happy, because it's just how well it is as a movie. And on top of everything, it's such a beautifully shot movie. It feels very old school. It feels very, rough around the edges. It feels like it's shot on like a 16 millimeter, or it feels like a Dead Poet Society or something that came out in the 60s or 70s. It just has that feel. Like, everything feels authentic. Nothing feels out of place. Like the cars, the world, the clothing, the fact that people got out and did things. That's another thing that's interesting about this movie, is just how society was back in the 60s and 70s. It's a lot different than it is now, and you really get a good sense. And this movie's like 2 hours and 15 minutes, and I was just mesmerized and enthralled by the entire movie. And it's absolutely fantastic, a real winner. Once again, Alexander Payne shows how talented, how nuanced, and how well he works as a character study piece. Like I said, sometimes he doesn't have the park downsizing. A lot of times he does, that's why his films are as well beloved as they are. This is just another real winner. Now, it's not going to be for everyone, because it is a very downtrodden, very depressing film in a lot of respects for that route. But it's a movie that I didn't expect to be my favorite movie so far of the year. And it's a movie that's going to hopefully garner some Oscar buzz. And I love it. This also has a great score and great music and everything. And overall, I think this is a winner. I think it's fantastic, and I highly recommend The Holdovers, which should be out very, very soon on in theaters and then on VOD eventually. So, with that said, that is going to be my take on The Holdovers, newest Alexander Payne movie. So, anyways, with that said, thank you so much for watching. Comments below, what is your favorite Alexander Payne movie? Are you interested in seeing this? All that good stuff. Let me know. But if you like what you see on this channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button, and as always, we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.